Oh my god, now you guys can hear us. Wow. Sorry for that, snafu.
Wow.
So you totally didn't hear anything that we were saying.
Wow.
Welcome.
Wow. Okay. That's okay.
That's okay.
We'll live.
Yep. That was our own test run, and we have
Yeah.
one person watching.
Yeah.
Sweet. Okay. Test the mic.
Test.
I am good. All right.
Okay, good.
We're good. Oh my god.
Yeah, what about that one?
Wow. Oh wow.
Oh, wow.
That is a delay.
That was loud.
Yes. That was a delay. Okay, cool.
All right. Hello.
And we're off.
Hey.
And we're running.
Hey, y'all. Welcome
Hey.
to another episode
y'all.
of the Media Boat Podcast.
I feel like we're missing a block.
The Media... Are you missing a block?
Yeah.
A block?
Yes.
A block. I don't know what that means. Hi,
An
it's
apple
the Media...
crate.
What?
An apple crate. So
An
it's a
apple
delicious,
crate.
delicious apple crate.
No, we always have it too. we just have better posture this week. That's what it is.
Speaking of posture.
Speaking of posture, it's the Media Boat Podcast. I don't know what that means. Today is March the 6th. It's officially March 2019.
Yes, it was March as of last Friday.
This is episode 165. If you don't know what the Media Boat Podcast is, we are a podcast that brings you news about movies, television, video games, and music. Not necessarily in that order.
And boy, do we have news for you.
We have news. Not a whole lot of thoughts this week, but we do have news. So let's get rolling right into it. My name is Matt. His name is Mike.
I'm Mike. He's Matt. As we said, we have no thoughts today. We have nothing to think
Actually,
about.
we do have some thoughts.
Did you listen to something?
I listened to not one thing. I didn't listen to two things either. I listened to three things.
What?
Yes, we'll get there.
Okay, we'll get there.
We wait until music for that. But first,
But
it's
before
time.
we get to music, we start off every podcast with
Yes.
movies.
We talk about movies first, and we're starting movies, as always, with the weekend box office numbers.
All right. So, what is number one?
Still, number one. It's second week up at the top. How to Train Your Dragon, The Hidden World.
Yes. No, they're doing a great job of marketing that as not How to Train Your Dragon 3. They're
Even though
dropping
it is.
that, even though it is.
It is. It's kind of like how, remember when Call of Duty 4 was just, it's Call of Duty Modern Warfare. It's like everybody knows it's Call of Duty 4.
Well, it's like when they do that Iron Man 3.
Yeah.
It wasn't the number 3, it was spelled out 3.
3.
Yes.
3. But this is How to Train Your Dragon 3. It's still number one with $30 million, adding to its $97 million domestic total.
Well done. Well done. That actually makes it still number 2 worldwide as of 2019.
Yeah.
Glass is still number 1 worldwide.
Yeah, so far.
At only 130 million?
So yeah, this will easily overtake it. Just give it a couple more weeks.
Yes. Or, if you want to look for this upcoming weekend, it'll overtake that.
Yeah, probably.
That'll overtake everything.
Yeah.
But we'll
get there.
I'm getting ahead of myself here. What else is in the box office?
Number 2, but just barely number 2, Tyler Perry's A Medea Family Funeral. The newest Tyler Perry film.
Yes, putting the fun in funeral.
Sure. Is that the tagline?
I hope it
I
is.
wouldn't put it above it.
Yeah.
That's your number 2 movie this week with $27 million, just coasting right under the dragon. So yeah, those movies usually make money.
Those movies have a specific audience in mind, and they can be released whenever they want, and people will go see them.
People will see them. Yeah. People like those movies. Alita Battle Angel at number 3 with $7 million. That's up to $72 million.
That thing will not cross 100 domestically.
It might not, now that I think about it. Number 4 is Lego Movie 2. Coming in with another $6 million, adding to a $91 million total. That will cross 100.
That will cross 100.
And lastly, number 5, Fighting with My Family with $4 million. That's at $14 million domestic total.
Yep, that got a wider release, and unfortunately, that's not as wide as it's going to go, because this upcoming weekend...
Well, we're not there yet, because first...
Oh, yes, we had another new release last week.
When everybody is asking, whenever she's off the screen, everybody should be asking, where's Greta?
Who is Greta? Why is Greta?
All of the above, really. That was a Simpsons reference.
Yes. That was a Infinity War reference.
Cool. Fair enough. But yeah, Greta, the movie Greta, way down at number 8.
Yeah.
Only $4 million. Not great for Greta.
No, not great for Chloe Grace Moretz either.
All three of them.
All three of them together.
But yes, the big news, we're burying the lead here because, of course, the big news in the box office this week is actually next week. Captain Marvel is out this week. Technically Thursday night showings, but properly Friday.
I have my tickets for Thursday night, 7 o'clock.
You're locked down.
I'm locked in.
Because otherwise, nobody will be able to get in on Thursday night. It's probably already sold out.
Yes. So we were looking that up, and it's basically all theaters are showing this weekend.
Yeah.
Literally, like,
right. Yeah.
80% of their screens are going to Captain Marvel showtimes.
They know how this works.
Yeah.
But yes, Captain Marvel, Brie Larson, making her Marvel debut.
Hey, let's bring her up here, because we're going to talk about
yeah,
her
let's
in
talk
a bit.
about her. Because she is also in the news.
Yes. So, yeah, she is, Brie Larson is one of my favorite actresses. Also, Captain Marvel is literally the only thing coming out this weekend, so we're not skipping new releases.
No, we're not. That was your new release this week.
Yes.
And you already knew that.
And as such, it will definitely be #1 at the box office.
Yes.
Question is, do we do prediction on how much it will make?
Oh, God, I don't know. It's been low this year.
I know. So, let's just make it easy. Will this be the first film of the year to top 100 million?
It could do it. But I feel like the 80 range is safer.
80 is definitely the safe play. Ant-Man and the Wasp, I think, did 75?
So, how about this? Over under on 80. Where are you at? What do you want to take?
I'm going to go over on 80.
Okay, I'll comfortably take the under.
Well, yeah, because it's going to flirt in the 90s, I think.
Okay, in that case, do you want to up it to 90? That would be a little more
That's risky. A little more risky, yeah.
Because that would basically, like, is this thing going to make 100 or not?
Yeah. I'd like to go over 90.
Okay. All right, then I'll take the under on 90. We'll see who wins next.
I just like to think positive on this thing. But
just seeing as how shoddy this year's been so far.
Well, yes, but it hasn't been. But this
has been a movie like this.
There has been a movie like this. This is a Marvel movie. Yeah. This is a female lead film, and we saw what Black Panther did.
Yeah. So we'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see.
But
March is not February, but we'll see.
Yes, but because I'm bringing all this up, it actually brings us right into our first story.
Right, it does. So Brie Larson.
Yes.
With her movie premiering this week, she has been on press tour.
As you do.
Well, she's calling people out, as she is.
As she does.
Well, as she does in the past, but also totally warranted this time.
Oh, yeah.
She noted that her critics currently are predominantly white males, and have made a conscious choice to make sure her press days were more inclusive to all sorts of different kinds of people. This was instead, though, unfortunately, because the internet is the internet, taken as, quote, an attack on white males, unquote, and as such, an attack on Captain Marvel's Rotten Tomatoes rating, which has taken a dive in the audience quotient.
Yes, it's opened at 87, dropped down to 82. I believe it's still dropping, but the film also hasn't been officially widely released yet.
Yeah, that's the thing, and this has actually started a conversation about, in a few different places on the internet right now, about metrics like this and why they still matter and how they still matter, and this weird rule that allows people to comment and essentially review a movie that hasn't been released yet.
Yeah. There has been at least debates about whether Rotten Tomatoes should make a separate column of just, will I see it, won't I see it, and not open reviews until the film is widely released.
So I'm cribbing a little bit from a podcast last week that I listened to from the folks over at Waypoint.
Okay.
They were talking about this, and they were talking about something I didn't know about Rotten Tomatoes, is that Fandango owns them.
Oh, yeah.
They mentioned this because at some point Fandango introduced on their website Rotten Tomato indicators next to ticket sales. And so they're basically saying, talking about like how that can directly affect consumers buying tickets if they see a little icon next to it that says it's fresh or rotten. So as much as people would like to say, oh, Rotten Tomatoes doesn't matter, no one cares,
it kind of
does now. And so stuff like this, where people can review a movie that they haven't seen, is detrimental to the movie going public as a whole, especially if this trend of people caring becomes larger and larger.
Right, but then that gets to a whole thing of how do you confirm someone actually saw a movie?
And that's the thing, is if Fandango has the ability to technically do that, only, of course, for people who buy tickets through Fandango.
And then that's the thing.
But at least they can then say next to certain reviews that this is a verified purchase.
Right.
Like an Amazon kind of thing. So the technology is there for at least Fandango customers. But yeah, there's no way they can metric this unless they want to be total creepers, which is possible, but I hope they don't, to verify other purchases. But little by little. It's baby steps. But hopefully, maybe they'll wise up and be like, yeah, maybe we should not allow them to do that. Because do you see any benefit to allowing people, like, not critics, of course, who get screeners of these things,
right,
but like
rando?
Your average rando to be allowed to review something before it comes out?
No, because only people who see films before they come out are supposed to be critics.
That's right.
So that way they can get their word out before the film. So come Thursday when you see the paper, when this thing originated for critics.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm confused why this is still a thing, is what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
Why are people allowed to do this? So, so it's tanking. Brie, of course. Brie Larson has been an outspoken advocate for a while for diversity in media. And, of course, for the Me Too movement as well. Mm-hmm. Not surprised that she's taking this head on. But, further proof that...
Well, she's headstrong like that.
Yeah, she'll take you on.
Yeah, she'll take on anyone.
She'll take on anyone. So we'll report back next week with thoughts. At least you will.
I will.
With thoughts about Captain Marvel. So
yes,
keep your ears open for that.
Yeah, I will, and then I'll definitely have thoughts on the overall cinematic universe, how this will play out. Because people have been reviewing this thing, basically saying because Kevin Feige has come out and said Captain Marvel will be the strongest character or superhero in the Marvel universe.
Right.
People are quick to jump on, why does it have to be a woman? What happened to the original Avengers? Why can't it be any of them? Like, I thought the Hulk was the all-powerful, almighty, indestructible.
Sometimes I think that people, a certain amount of people out there are just looking for something to complain about these movies. They're just like trying to grab whatever...
They're grasping at
whatever straw they can get to make it seem like something is a problem.
The one that does stick, though, is why is it Captain Marvel being the first female superhero film for MCU and not Black Widow?
It should have been Black Widow.
Yeah.
She should have gotten her own movie a long time ago. And no, it's not Red Sparrow.
No. But that film is actually in production, so there are steps there.
It's happening. But, it's weird that it took this long. All right. Next up in movie news, we have some casting bits for you.
Yep, a big old casting call, or rather, casting no call?
Yeah, or like people leaving their positions. First up, Will Smith decided that he wants none of that Suicide Squad money anymore. He has exited the sequel.
He has exited on terms of scheduling conflict.
Okay.
They could definitely get around this by doing some story stuff where they take his character Deadshot out within the first 5 minutes, like he gets killed or kidnapped or whatever. Yeah. So, therefore, he's in the film, or his character's in the film, but he's not necessarily in the film.
He doesn't necessarily have to be like a star.
Right, as he or basically anyone wearing the mask of Deadshot could be in the film. And then bring him back in for the third one when that eventually happens, because this thing will make $750 million.
Yeah, boy. Maybe. We'll see. But I'm not too surprised by this.
Yeah. So, I don't see them actually recasting this.
No.
I see them doing some kind of
clever
writing trickery, because if this thing does get a third, you kind of want Will Smith back for it. Because that will definitely drive ticket sales.
Yeah, but we'll see where that story is at after
the second
one. Who knows? Maybe they'll kill it.
The DCEU is a giant mess.
It's a mess. Next up, Josh Brolin and Peter Dinklage are set to star in Brothers.
Yes, not to be confused with Step Brothers.
No, Brothers, which is the next film from Ethan Coen.
Yes, also not to be confused with Brothers, the Jake Gyllenhaal film.
Right. Or Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons, the video game.
Or Brother Bear.
No, too much. I was trying.
Too much.
But yeah, what else? Johnny Depp, no longer involved in the Universal Invisible Man film.
I believe that was kind of hinted at when The Mummy failed last year.
Yeah, that basically Universal came out and said, yeah, we're not doing what was it called, the Dark Universe anymore?
Yes, the Dark Universe.
The Dark Universe.
Yes, with all the
Remember
monsters.
That?
Yes, Universal's all-monster movie universe.
Mayhem
universe.
Monster movie Mayhem. Yeah, that's no longer happening, so not surprised.
Yes, also...
I would be more surprised if this thing was still being made. Anime.
But don't you remember that set photo? The casting photo of everyone standing there in their suits.
Yeah, that's gonna age well.
Oh.
Yeah. And then lastly, did you ever think you wanted an animated Scooby-Doo film?
I always wanted an animated Scooby-Doo film. Maybe not in theaters.
Oh, just direct-to-video? They've done plenty of those.
Oh, yeah. I know they've done plenty of those. Those are fun.
This sounds like a theatrical release, though.
Okay.
An animated Scooby-Doo film that will star Will Forte, Gina Rodriguez, and Tracy Morgan, among all people there, and Frank Welker voicing Scooby-Doo, as I think he currently does in most incarnations.
I believe, yes.
I think he's the current voice.
Well, he was Fred in the original 1970s. But then he's transformed into doing just the Scooby-Doo now. I think Matthew Lillard actually does the animated voice for the TV series.
For Shaggy?
Yeah, for Shaggy. Will Forte will do the voice in this film because
you can't get Casey Kasem anymore.
Unfortunately not.
But yeah, I don't know. It sounds okay.
Yeah, but I did look it up. Or I did read the article.
Gina Rodriguez...
there's
Daphne and Velma.
And there's Velma.
Yeah.
Pick one.
Gina Rodriguez probably makes more sense as Velma.
You'll be correct.
Okay.
She will be Velma.
Will Forte Shaggy?
Will be Shaggy.
What?
But that leaves Tracy Morgan as...
yeah, I don't know.
As Captain Caveman.
Who is Captain Caveman?
Captain Caveman is one of Hanna-Barbera's other cartoons.
Okay.
So... Based on that little information...
That's all we know?
This is...
Captain Caveman is involved?
One, Captain Caveman is involved. And two,
Captain Caveman is a character that I'm just finding out about.
And three, this was actually the first step in setting up the Hanna-Barbera shared universe.
No.
Remember we talked about that a year ago? Last year we talked about how they wanted that?
Yeah, and next year we're going to talk about just how we just talked about the Dark Universe. Now they shut it all down.
Yep.
And the Pokemon Detective Pikachu universe, too. Everything's a universe now.
Everything's a shared universe because Marvel made $10 billion and counting.
Okay. Well, that's it for movies.
All right.
And I mean, that's it for movies because movies are done if all this happens. No, I'm kidding. That's it for movie news, which means... do you
have any other spare thoughts?
Did you see any movies this week?
No. So, my quick thought is that being that we're already completed 2 months of the year, I've seen maybe 5 films.
Yeah, you're behind.
I'm way behind.
You're behind in your... But you always catch up in the summer.
Well, yeah, because they released like 4 films a week in the summer.
Movies come out, so... Yeah. I wouldn't worry about your stats.
My stats just yet. No. I get slingshotted in the front, and then I get all the awards stuff.
The rest of the year.
Yes, because I got to see all the awards films.
But yeah, I also did not see any movies this week. Yeah. So that means...
That being said, I will somehow, throughout this year, see Glass and How to Train Your Dragon 2 and the rom-com, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Whatever the hell that is.
Yeah, Isn't It Romantic?
Yes.
I'll see those eventually. But there is currently no urgency to go to the movies.
No, definitely not.
Except Brie Larson calling my name to come see
her. That's another story. Like I said, everybody's going to see that thing.
Yes.
But if you're not seeing movies, you might be watching some television.
Okay.
It's time to talk about television, and we always start television with sports. Kind of slow sports time right now.
Yes, it's definitely a slow sports time.
But baseball is approaching and it's approaching rapidly. By the end of this month, we will have baseball games being played.
Yes.
In fact, some could argue that there are baseball games being played right now. It's just spring training. Don't get too excited.
Yes, it's spring training. They're in Arizona or Florida.
Or wherever they're...
Warm weather, trying to warm up.
Warm weather places are.
Yes.
So yeah, your favorite teams might be making some headlines, whether it's for winning their first bunch of spring training games, let's go Angels, or and foreshadowing their inevitable losses during the actual season.
Yep.
Or you might be looking at some headlines about some players signing new contracts.
So a couple of weeks ago, we talked about Manny Machado signing the biggest MLB contract ever.
Well, has that already been broken?
Unfortunately, yes.
All right, and it's none other than Mr. Bryce Harper.
Well-deserved, multiple All-Star of the Phillies. I believe he has a World Series ring with them as well.
Yeah.
He has decided to stay with the Phillies.
Yes.
Shocker.
For, get this, $3 million. For how long, you ask?
Wait, for how long? How much?
$3 million.
How much?
$3 million. 3 million smackers. 3 million smackers.
Ah.
Is that a typo?
That is a typo.
How much is it really?
Would you expect $3 million for 13 years?
It seems small.
It does seem small, doesn't it?
Is it 30?
It is more.
Is it 300?
That is the Albert Pujols deal. That is the deal that Manny Machado got. $300 million for 10 years.
So
it is more.
What should this say?
It should say $315 million for 13 years.
You really needed the extra number.
Yes, I do kind of need that.
$3 million for 13 years, as you said.
Yes.
With Phillies.
But it does answer the question, how much would you have to pay someone to live in Philly?
How much would you have to pay somebody to look at The Fanatic all the time? That's another question.
Well, it'd be less than paying to look at Gritty for it all the time.
Hey, I'll look at Gritty any day of the week. You just put me in front of Gritty, I will look at Gritty. I will look at some Gritty. So yeah, it's a lot of money. $315 million.
Yes, $315 million for 13 years. It's a lot of money. However,
he'll perform.
One, he'll perform. Two, this bidding war contract is not over, as Mike Trout's contract will be coming up soon, and he will then, for sure, have
break that record. Can the
Angels afford him? I don't think they can.
So, do you think he's gone?
Yes.
Wow. Bold predictions here.
It'll be interesting to see if
your doctor disagrees after having talked to her over last weekend about this. Briefly.
They can't afford it. Not after this.
She seemed to assume that he was going to stick with it. Probably not.
No.
It's like the entire budget.
Well, so the idea is that he'll get Albert Pujols' contract plus bonus.
Okay.
Because Albert Pujols was $250 million for 10 years.
Yeah.
But that contract ends in 2021 or 22.
Got it.
So he's going to be out by next year, though.
These teams are really writing checks that they can't cash.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
If they bring in the fans and the ring...
Speaking of bringing people in, I brought this up to your doctor as well last year, and I watched some games last year, and I was like, you know what? I could commit to this. I'm going to commit.
Okay.
I'm going to do it.
Well, you did enjoy playing MLB The Show.
Yes, and there will be a new one of those pretty soon here.
Yes. I would say the cover was announced, and I'm forgetting who it is.
Oh, I didn't see this.
Okay.
But yeah, we'll see how it goes. But it's been a while since I've paid attention to a sport. I fell off of football hard. It just does not interest me at this point.
That's okay. It only comes around once a year.
Yes, I know that works. Anyway,
that's how seasons work.
All right, so let's move out of sports unless you have anything else to add in sports real quick.
Not
Anything else going on?
This week. I'll have stuff next week.
Okay.
NBA is slowly wrapping up. The Lakers are not out of it just yet, but there's like a 1% chance they can make the playoffs.
That's okay. LeBron James has his things dipped into other careers. I'll get to that later in the podcast.
Well, if he doesn't have to play in June, then he can rest up and perform not necessarily on the court.
Yes.
But on a green screen.
Yes, which he will be.
Which he definitely will be, and that's why he's
say, like I hinted at, or a recording studio, but I'll get to that later.
We'll get to that one later.
All right, so let's move on then from sports into proper television news that aired on Fox for about 10 years.
Oh, I watched maybe 2 episodes of that thing.
Yeah.
I liked what I saw, but not enough to keep me interested. But it was the thing that just kept going.
It kept going.
They just kept getting renewed. It was like, okay, time for renewal? All right, yeah, sure, Bones, keep going. Tell us when you want to stop.
Well, guess what has been also long-running?
Fox screwing people over?
Basically, a long-running legal battle around the show. An arbitrator has issued a 66-page ruling, which concluded that Fox executives lied, cheated, and committed fraud at the expense of the show's stars. $200 million was awarded after Fox president Peter Rice, Fox TV CEO Dana Walden, and Fox that enveloped an aversion for the truth, unquote. The origin of the lawsuit, by the way, if you're wondering where all this stems from.
Where does all this stem from? Didn't Bones go off like 2 years ago?
Well, here's what happened. The origin of the lawsuit comes from the show making $500 million, and James Murdoch calling it perhaps the most profitable show in Fox's history, to the series being calculated as a money loser, though, internally, and thus not sharing profits at all with the stars or the creators.
So
this doesn't seem to add up.
Now, I'm no mathematician here.
No, but you're a mathematician.
Yes, but that's only on the weekends.
Yes,
and for kids.
Kids' parties.
It's just for kids.
Right. Uninvited.
Hey, sometimes the best kind of surprise is
okay. Anyways.
Right. Anyways, I'm no mathematician. Let me get that kind of the way. But if a show is making $500 million, that is nowhere near a loss of a profit.
Right.
Ever. Even if each episode was $1 million, you don't have 500 episodes over 10 seasons.
Yeah, that's a lot. But yeah, so what was actually happening?
What was actually happening?
Well, there's trickery behind the scenes, as you might have assumed.
No, from Fox executives?
I know.
Trickery?
Fox attempted to negotiate lower rates for licensing the show to streaming sites by comparing it to something lower performing like Fringe instead of something more popular like House.
Well, this was definitely more in the wheelhouse of House, as it went on for 12 seasons.
Basically, they lowballed the streaming networks. It basically was like, it's not that big of a deal.
So, put this in perspective, real briefly, though. This was negotiated back in 2010.
Right, before streaming became the juggernaut that it is now.
Right, so Bones was actually 4 or 5 years into its
Probably
seasons.
At that point, yeah.
And so, you don't know how long a show is going to last. But when you have such a vocal fan base and it's one of the highest rated on your network and people constantly watch it, you kind of have more to lean on to a more popular type of show than for a kind of a fan favorite, but not necessarily a critic favorite.
Yeah.
Or critic favorite, but not a fan favorite, where it was Fringe.
Right. But yeah, this goes back as far as even 2009. Back when this legal stuff had originally started, there was a negotiation where the stars wanted more money, and Fox was like, no.
Yeah.
Basically told them that they were like, hey, we're going to pull the plug if you guys ask for more.
Yeah. That wasn't the case.
No.
Well, so that was the case for Fox executives basically making this deal to the executives saying, we're not going to we can't give you more money, but if you threaten to sue for more money, we'll just cancel the show. Well, that's why paper trails are involved. Right. And with memos comes, the truth.
So, yeah. Ultimately, fact of the matter, Bones was never going to be canceled. They never had actual teeth behind that threat. They wanted the show to continue. But eventually it did, because I assume it run its course, I guess. But yeah, the intent was always to continue. Even after all this backroom dealing, though, Rice and Walden, two of the executives that we mentioned earlier, are probably going to end up in top spots after the Disney merger.
Yeah. As we've noted on this podcast several times, kind of a tough story running here, Disney is still buying Fox.
It's still happening.
Even after all this.
I mean, this is small potatoes when you give it such a large corporate view. But still, it sucks to be the people who, your stars, your Emily Deschanels in this situation.
Funny to bring up small potatoes. Want to know how small $200 million is to Fox?
Probably pretty small considering how much money they have.
It is 0.6% of their revenue.
It's ridiculous.
That just puts in perspective how large the $1 billion is, and then how large the $100 billion that this thing is making, or that it's being sold for.
Crazy.
0.6%.
Yeah. But guess what? We're not done talking about Bones.
Oh, no, we're not talking about, because our second story
is also about
Bones.
Remember how I said that the streaming networks got lowballed?
Whoa.
Here is that story. So Hulu. Fox attempted to negotiate lower rates for licensing the show to streaming sites, like we mentioned, by comparing it to Fringe rather than House, to something that was very, very different. This went back far as 2010, when parent companies Hulu, as you mentioned, would keep their streaming numbers from showrunners. Things were different back then, and producers as to not be properly compensated. It was different. It was the ball game hadn't changed.
Right.
They weren't taking it seriously yet.
It was also something new, something untapped. People didn't know how much streaming was going to affect not only live numbers, but repeat viewer numbers.
And not only that, but Fox still owns, and did own, 30% stake in Hulu.
Yeah, they still had that 30% stake.
Yeah, which meant that they were allowed to exploit streaming rights and license those rights without much of anything returned. They basically had part of the pie.
They're basically negotiating with themselves, like, oh, I'll pay me $100 to keep doing this thing I can do for free, but I have to make this a payment. So that way, one, it's on the books, and two, I can show it to the producers and showrunners, like, hey, this is what we got for it.
Yeah. Well, this resulted in a breach of obligation to distribute the series in good faith. Does this mean it's been pulled?
No.
No, not yet.
Not yet. It might be.
Fox had to defend being on both sides of the same transaction.
Like Bones, I said, negotiating with yourself.
Yeah, Bones, by the way, ran from 2005 to 2017. And when the deal was made to Hulu in 2010, it did include future profits that was never discussed in negotiations.
Yeah, because Fox owns a portion of Hulu, all those future profits, because, as we mentioned, they knew the show wasn't getting canceled.
Yeah.
They kind of made that deal, which you don't make that deal on any type of show ever, because you never know. Stars happen, showrunners happen, ins and outs of politics. But if you know that a show's going to go on for 10 plus years, if you know that you're purposely misguiding the showrunners or the producers or even the lead actors on what's going on, and if you know all this like lying deceit that's going on, that just leaves for a bad work environment.
Yeah. Which, going into the Disney majority era of Hulu, is very interesting now, because those same people may be making some decisions of a similar nature. And could the corruption continue?
Yeah.
Maybe. Scary stuff. But we'll see what happens later this year when that all comes to fruition.
Right. Do note, huge asterisk note on this thing. No one's going to jail. It's just a fine. They're just getting paid.
Fines. Yeah, just legal stuff.
Yep.
All right. let's move on. That's it for television news, which means we get to talk about cancellations and renewals.
Before we do that, we have to talk about our thoughts first.
Did you watch anything new on television this week?
Yes. This was going to be our... Well, this happened today, but... thoughts. The Jeopardy! All-Star Tournament.
I haven't finished it yet.
Okay. I won't tell you what happens.
I already know because I follow Ken Jennings on Twitter and he spoiled it.
Of course he did.
So, I'm really enjoying watching it.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's definitely an interesting concept.
I hope they do something like this again.
Yeah.
The only thing is we need to talk about something else about Jeopardy right now.
That's why I bring it up.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought it up.
Yes.
We don't have this on the news, but yes, it was breaking news today.
Yes, as of 6 hours ago, I want to say.
Alex Trebek.
Yes.
Host of the show for over 30 years now. He's going on some hard times medically.
This is not his first bout.
No.
But this does seem to be his last.
He's been diagnosed with cancer.
Not just cancer, pancreatic cancer.
Stage 4.
Stage 4, which is a 1% chance of survival. Do note that this type of cancer is what also took Steve Jobs.
Right.
To give you an idea of how unwinnable?
Yeah.
I don't want to say that.
What the rate is of survivability.
Right.
Which Alex is aware. He released a statement today directly to Jeopardy fans where he was very open and transparent about it, where he just straight up told everybody what was going on. But he says that he has belief that he's going to fight through this as much as he can. Mm-hmm. He wants to be one of the people who survive. He really thinks that he can and will try as hard as he can to do so. And if anybody can get a top-tier medical care, it's going to be Alex Trebek. So.
Well, we all know Alex Trebek has the answers. He's just looking for the right questions.
Looking for the right questions. It really is. Of course, we are at the Media Boat Podcast big fans. We hope that he has nothing but good
yes.
attention paid to this, and I hope that nothing goes wrong, and I hope ultimately maybe he does come out on the other end of this. But at the same time, though, we understand that cancer, it's pretty rough, and most of the times it doesn't work out. So we have, though, 30-plus years of amazing television that this man has given us.
Right. Not only that, we have an idea of who could replace him.
I mean, that is the conversation, kind of what the conversation will eventually turn to. I don't know if we should be talking about it quite yet.
No, but as we reported last year when he renewed his contract, that he did have an idea of who could replace him.
Yeah, but we'll see.
We won't share that here because he's not done.
It's just bad timing because he's not done. He's obviously going to, as knowing him, and this is basically what he said over the years, is that as long as he's able to do it, he still wants to do it.
Oh yeah.
That's why he signed that contract for another 3 years. Is that as long as he's willing and able to stand up there on the stage and read the clues, he's going to. So this is not goodbye quite yet, but it may be goodbye at some point. So we'll see.
That'll be a sad day when that happens.
It'll be a really sad day. The last episode. Pretty sad one.
Oh,
I'll have to bring everybody
the
back.
Idea of what if it happens before.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't get a proper farewell.
Yeah, hopefully they'll figure something out. Have a good goodbye special for him. All right, well, we need to move on though.
Yes.
Anything else that you watched this week?
Yes.
Talk about?
I watched The Masked Singer. That thing has concluded.
It has ended.
Yes.
T-Pain.
Yes.
The monster.
Yes, T-Pain apparently sings better than Gladys Knight.
According to the audience of The Masked Singer. To be specific here.
Yes. T-Pain is your winner, or the monster is your winner, which was T-Pain. It's, as I said when I reviewed it, it's just dumb enough to where I enjoyed it.
It's dumb.
But it is still a dumb show. It is still renewed for a second season.
I'm not surprised. Enough people... It spurred on enough talk.
Yeah.
Where people were just like, what the hell is this? I'm not surprised it's coming back.
No. I mean, it's the new celebrity reality show, basically.
For now.
B-list celebrity, I guess, show?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. So, if you don't want to dance with Dancing with the Stars, you can karaoke on Masked Singer.
Oh, and if you care, by the way, we're not watching it, but American Idol's back. Season 2 started. Sorry, Season 2 on the ABC run started last week. It's currently happening, I believe, right now.
No one cares, Luke Bryan.
But no one cares about Luke Bryan, so we're not watching it this year. I refuse. As long as Katy Perry is still on that show. Like, I'm over it. Can't do it anymore. So, yeah, anything else so we can finally move on?
Oh, no, I think I'm done.
Okay, good.
I still haven't watched Russian Doll.
That's okay. Let's move on then. That's it for television thoughts. So that moves on to cancellations, renewals.
All right. What do I no longer get to see on my TV?
Well, not on your TV because you didn't subscribe to CBS All Access. But if you did subscribe to CBS All Access, you would know that they're bringing back Star Trek Discovery for a third season.
That is critically acclaimed. People who have seen it loved it.
People like it.
People like it.
Meanwhile, on Fox...
do note that this is in conjunction to the Jean-Luc Picard series that they're doing as well.
They'll be separate.
Those are two separate things.
Meanwhile, on Fox, Love Connection. Canceled after 2 seasons.
The upcoming second season is its last season.
Got it. Usually you note that. You didn't this time.
Well, I'm noting it now.
Okay. On the notes.
Oh, yes.
Cinemax.
Well, because normally we know that if it's in season,
right.
But yeah.
But I don't know what that is.
No one knows what it is.
I don't know what connection is.
I think that's the Andy something. Andy Cohen Love Connection thing on Fox.
Thing. Now I know what you're talking about.
Yes.
Strike Back over on Cinemax. Yeah, that's a show.
Yeah, that's a show that's been on for quite a while.
Renewed for a 7th season.
Okay, I didn't realize it was that long. But
7th season. But also getting a 7th season, something that we are very aware of. Brooklyn Nine-Nine on NBC has been renewed. So they'll be getting yet another season.
Are you staying up to date on that?
Yes, I am up to date on that show. It's still good. Maybe not as good, but it's still good. I mean, the formula still works.
Yeah.
But I don't know whether that show needs a 7th season. Is kind of where, like I felt about it last season, is how I feel about it this season. Where it's like, yeah, you could do more of this.
Is it in the Parks and Rec thing?
Do you really need to? No, because the Parks and Rec thing, I think, yeah, maybe it went on 1 season too much. This is going on for like now 2, maybe 3 seasons too much. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But it's still an enjoyable show. I still will watch it because it's funny. Mm-hmm. The jokes are consistent. It's just that these characters, we've seen everything that they have to do. Although I did really like some of the stuff they did this season with the goodbye to the Chelsea Peretti character.
You're right.
That stuff
4
was
seasons.
Really good. Yeah, that stuff was really good. But
or 4 movements.
Yeah. Also on NBC, there's another sitcom is getting renewed. Superstore, getting a 5th season.
Apparently, Mark likes that show.
A lot of people like this show, which I don't quite understand why. But hey, it must have enough viewers to last for 5 seasons. So there you go.
I watched through the first 2. It was fine.
Yeah, I didn't care for it at all.
But that's it. It was just fine for me.
Then one last thing that I need to that we need to fact check here. I saw rumblings today on Twitter right before this podcast started that Arrow on the CW might finally be done.
Okay.
Which wouldn't surprise me if that was true.
That has gone on for quite a while.
Time. So yeah, I don't know if that's verified or not, but maybe next week we'll know for sure. So we'll see.
We'll definitely know for sure next week.
All right. Well, that's it for cancellations, renewals. We do have one death we have to talk about.
Yes. I don't believe I put it down.
You did.
Oh, I did. Okay, there's a second death then.
Oh, there's 2 deaths, so we need to talk about that.
Yeah.
But the one that I was aware of, that's written down here, and it's very sad. Luke Perry, of course, most famous in his younger days as an actor in Beverly Hills 90210.
Yep.
Famous kind of teen heartthrob back in the day, even though he was in his 20s.
Most teen heartthrobs are on this one.
But then most recently was Archie's dad on Riverdale.
Oh, that's where he was.
Yeah,
I wonder why Riverdale was on here.
Right, yes. He's Archie's dad on that show. But yes, beloved by many, across generations. Just seemed like an all-around good guy. He seemed like all his celebrity friends that are mourning him right now have been very amiable with the memories that they have of this guy. It seems like nobody really has anything bad to say about him. Seems like really good stand-up dude. Of course, he suffered a stroke a couple weeks ago. He was in recovery from that, and ultimately, sometimes this happens, and he didn't quite recover. Of course, our hearts go out to family and friends, and Cope. He's kind of a pivotal character in there. We'll see. Big loss. What was the other one you have?
The other one I have is a music one. Prodigy frontman.
Yes, I saw this.
Keith Flint, dead at 49.
Right, yeah, young. Both these guys young. Luke Perry was 52, by the way.
Right.
But Prodigy frontman also passed. Rough week.
Yep. Those are the two big ones this week.
Yeah. And that means now we're done talking about deaths. It's time to talk about the deaths of your earlobes or your ears, because it's time for music.
And that means it's time for some Ariana Grande chart-topping stuff.
You would think.
You'd think that, but I actually saw.
Neither of the number ones are Ariana this week. So
I know. I was surprised when I saw this news. It was like a shocker. Yeah. A breath of fresh air.
You could say that.
Yes.
But not really. More like a breath of stale air, because this stuff has been hanging out for a while.
Yeah, but at least it's not like diving to a deep end of music.
Yeah.
We could stay in the shallow end.
In fact.
And that's where we begin.
That's where we begin.
Yes. As the Billboard Hot 100, your singles begins with number 1, Shallow.
Shallow.
Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper. To which Bradley Cooper can now say, suck
He's got a number 1 record.
I have a number 1 record now.
So weird.
Number 2 is 7 Rings by Ariana Grande.
Yep.
3, Without Me by Halsey.
Yep.
4, Sunflower by Post Malone and Sway Lee.
Yep.
And breaking into the top 5 as your only newcomer in this jumbled mess.
Already been on the chart, but this is moving up the chart.
Yep. Middle Child by J. Cole.
J. Cole, having a moment right now.
Yep. But not as big as one as Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper.
Yes, because
for your Billboard 200, they have the top album with A Star Is Born. Number 2, we have Thank You, Next by Ariana Grande. Number 3, Drip or Drown 2 by Gunna.
That's your favorite formula of what was it? Drip Harder?
Yes, Drip Harder. Gunna. Number 4, Father of 4 by Offset. And number 5, Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yes.
The soundtrack.
You missed the Offset record is Father of 4 because it's written in all caps.
Oh, it is written on all caps. But there's no exclamation point, so don't yell it.
Father of 4!
Okay, it's fine. The text is yelling at me. I'm not physically yelling.
All right. Well, tell me, what am I listening to this week?
Oh, you're going to be listening to... Well, I know what you're listening to.
Here we go.
But here are the new releases.
Here are the new releases.
Because you could be listening to, this upcoming Friday, Amanda Palmer with There Will Be No Intermission.
Uh-oh.
That sounds like a double album.
Yeah, when will I get snacks?
You gotta do that beforehand, before the previews.
Okay.
Then you miss the previews. So just get to the theater early.
Yeah, don't miss the 20.
Yep. Oh, the 20 is so good. But we're not talking about the 20. We're talking about new releases in music. With Towns Van Sant with Sky Blue. Buck Cherry. Yes, that Buck Cherry with Warpaint. Ditto, the band, not the Pokemon, with Still on My Mind.
It's not Ditto, it's Dido.
It's Dido. Ditto. Dido. Ditto.
Dido.
Okay, sure. Flight of the Conchords. Yes, those Flight of the Conchords. With Live in London. So a live album?
Yes.
Cool. Foals with Everything Not Saved Will Be Lost. Part 1.
Yes. Metacritic said that the part 2 is due in the fall. In case you're wondering.
In case you're wondering when part 2 is going to come out. We also have Helado Negro with This Is How You Smile.
Oh, okay. Like that.
We also have Juice WRLD with A Death Race for Love.
I laughed really hard when I saw that name.
Juice WRLD.
Well, also The Death Race.
Death Race for Love. That's not all. We have Meat Puppets with Dusty Notes.
Yep.
Patty Griffin with self-titled Patty Griffin. Sasami with self-titled Sasami.
Yep.
And lastly, Stella Donnelly with Beware the Dogs.
Yep. Those are your new releases.
Alright, but we need to talk about not necessarily a new band, but an old one.
Yeah, we do.
Coming back. Some of them got married, but some of them are actually coming back as well.
No bonus, though.
No bonus, Jonas. We're talking about the Jonas Brothers.
Joe Brothers are back.
I do believe they are still Jonases, and they are still brothers.
Yep.
So therefore, the band still works.
Let's check out. Turns out.
Well, after 10 years of brotherly love gave way to separate ways where they went on to their own solo careers.
Or joining bands like DNCE.
Did he join or did he create it?
Oh, he may have created it.
He may have created it. Yes. And Nick Jonas enjoying his chart topper, Bacon.
Our favorite
bacon over
podcast.
Here.
Bacon.
Yeah, put some bacon on it.
Oh, shit. Put some bacon on it.
While you're having cake by the ocean.
Yeah. Yes. All at the same time.
Well, anyways, the world is getting a bonus Jonas moment. Bonus Jonas moment. There is a bonus Jonas, but
he's not involved.
Not involved in this. As the Jonas Brothers' comeback single and video, Sucker, premiered on Friday morning. The song itself dishes the rock and roll rooted power pop of the brothers that the brothers parlayed in the 2000s for something squarely in line with the R&B oriented pop of Nick Jonas' solo career and Joe Jonas' stint in, as aforementioned, DNCE. Although it's clean enough that it's almost as if their Disney Channel series never really ended. I'm guessing this means that they're not really cursing, they're not doing anything sexual. This is a clean album.
Have you heard this thing?
I've not heard this thing.
I've heard the single. It's fine.
It's fine.
It's pretty middle of the road. It's kind of happy. It's got a nice little hook to it, but it's not like amazing. It's not like I was like, oh man, I need to listen to this all the time. But it's fine.
So who had the better comeback, Jonas Brothers or Backstreet Boys?
Jury's still out. I'll wait until I listen to the whole album.
Okay, so you want a Jonas album?
It'll happen.
Okay.
There'll probably be a tour too.
I'm sure there will be.
Yeah.
I mean, if you get the brothers back together,
you might as well.
Might as well do a tour. People will go see them.
People will. All right.
Name that tour.
The Suckers act. I don't know.
Sucker Brothers?
No. I don't know. Let's move on.
All right. Moving on. One of our favorite days is coming up.
Yeah, well, not one of my favorite days. I have mixed feelings about this thing.
Yes, but Record Store Day.
Last year when we brought this up.
Yes, Record Store Day is coming up.
Record Store Day.
Where you get to go to a record store and buy records.
If you want.
If you want.
No one's making you.
You can do that anytime you want.
Yeah, you can technically do that any day. But this is when labels and artists will make special things that you can only get on this day.
Well, that day happens to be April 13th, fast approaching, and the lineup for this year's Brick and Mortar Blowout has just been unveiled.
Yes.
With 394, that's right, almost 400, 394 mostly vinyl exclusives. Most of these are limited edition releases hitting for that day only.
Yeah.
Helping lead the charge into stores are archival works finding their way into wax for the first time from Bob Dylan. Yes, that Bob Dylan.
Yeah.
Prince, Pink Floyd, The Grateful Dead, Elvis Presley, Elton John. Yes, that Elton John. Bill Evans, John Lennon, Roxy Music, Jeff Buckley, R.E.M., and many others. If these all sound familiar, they should. These are some of the top artists of the past decades.
So there are also, of course, new things also happening at Record Store Day, but this little blurb in the news would be way too long if I had included that list as well. So I just included the legacy acts because you would know who they were.
Right, and if you have a chart table, this would be a good time to go out and get these limited edition vinyls.
As long as you're ready to kind of fight some crowds, because this is usually a contentious day. So.
And if you don't want to fight the crowds, pay double on eBay.
Yeah.
Or don't. Support your local record stores.
Yes, indeed. Okay.
All right.
What else do we got in music, or is that it for music news?
That's all I have for the musical news.
Did you listen to anything this week?
I haven't. I've been slacking on music.
That's okay. I picked up your slack because I listened to 3 records this week.
Okay. Well, let's start off at the top with Solange's. Yes, of Beyonce's sister fame.
Yes, Solange.
When I Get Home.
So, Solange surprise released this. She announced kind of Thursday day of last week that there was going to be a new album released by her at midnight. That turned out to happen. A full new record. It's noted that her last record, A Seat at the Table, was Pitchfork's #1 album in 2016.
Yes, that was critically acclaimed. Yes, wow, is that 3 years ago?
That was 3 years ago.
Wow.
So yeah, this time it's a little different. This time, it's kind of her ode to Houston, where she grew up and where her family is from. And yeah, it incorporates a lot of that kind of like this Texas-born R&B sound that we're hearing a lot more of now. She's invited several different rappers on here to collab with. It's a very chill vibe throughout. It's one of those records where each song kind of bleeds into the other, so it's just a chunk of music instead of being like specific tracks. Mm-hmm. It all blends well. It's very relaxing to listen. It's very good. I enjoyed my time with it. If you're looking for something to chill out to, this is definitely the probably the best version of that this year.
Okay, I may listen to that.
Yeah.
When I get home.
When you get home. Next up, though, and an artist that actually appears on the Solange record, 2 Chainz.
2 Chainz. So we did note this was a new album coming out from 2 Chainz.
Yes.
Is there a new birthday song?
No.
Aww.
So 2 Chainz has apparently this transformation started last year, but I did not listen to the album that he put out last year. But if I had, I would have known that he's a slightly different kind of artist than he used to be. 2 Chainz, of course, used to be in the kind of ludicrous school of punchline rap.
Yes.
It used to be, I could rely on a 2 Chainz verse to be like, oh man, that pun was, ugh. And it was always funny. It was always hilarious to listen to a 2 Chainz verse. 2 Chainz, though, is getting serious, and this is his most serious record yet. It's very much autobiographical. There's a lot of stories about his upbringing, his days of drug dealing. There's one song in particular that basically lists all his former, all these famous rappers used to be his former, people who he sold to. Naming them by name and saying, yeah, I used to meet so-and-so down near the blah, blah, blah and sell him some stuff. Just straight up saying it is just the confidence in that. But a couple of other notable things about it. There's one song I think that you should check out. I actually think you should listen to this. There might be enough stuff in here to keep you interested. Okay. One song that I thought was really neat called NCAA. Of course, it is about college football. He uses he juxtaposes his own story of being a college football star, and hence the name, choosing to be a rap star instead of going to the NFL. That's what rap or go to the league means. He was apparently a huge star in his college. He debated about being a football player and trying out for the NFL or pursuing his rap career. He, of course, pursued rap. But the song kind of juxtaposes that at the same time about talking about how the NCAA belittles its athletes and doesn't give them what they're worth.
Well, no, they're not worth a whole lot because NCAA is a scholarship. They don't take money from this.
Yeah, sure. So, anyways, you can see where 2 Chainz falls on that argument.
Oh, no, I think most people fall on that argument the same way.
But he got co-signed from a very famous athlete, though, because this record is produced by none other than the aforementioned LeBron James.
And that's where he comes in on this.
That's where he comes in on this. So he is officially a record producer.
In addition to being
everything else.
Restaurateur, actor.
Basketball player.
Sure. Basketball player, philanthropist, billionaire.
Yeah.
Good-looking dude, I guess.
So yeah, LeBron would probably know a few things about being paid to be a professional athlete. and may add some credence to 2 Chainz' theory about how these college kids, may need some money.
Briefly on that, there is talks of the NBA lowering its age.
I heard this.
To 18.
18, which is apparently where it used to be.
Yes.
And was changed at some point.
It was changed to basically increase the play in
NCAA.
In NCAA, so you have to go to college. And that's where the phrase one and done came from.
But no,
they go for 1
maybe
year.
Maybe not for too much longer.
Yeah, we may be reverting back and having a new LeBron James out of high school, seeing as he's basically going to retire in 10 years when his contract's up.
So yeah, we'll see. But yeah, I thought it was an interesting approach for 2 Chainz. It's very, like I said, very serious, very autobiographical. Not what I expected, and I enjoyed it.
Okay.
But lastly, I have to talk about something I did not enjoy.
Yes, we have to talk about LeBron's play on the court. I am not enjoying it this year.
No, worse.
Okay.
I have to talk about Weezer again.
All right, so we have the Teal album. That was the
covers
album.
But that was just preamble for this.
Yes.
The proper new Weezer album. The Black album.
Or it's Weezer.
But it's
the Black.
Got a black cover, so yeah. It's how they always do their records.
Yes.
Well, not always, I guess. How they do some of their records, which is, we're going to call it self-titled, but really it's the color. So the Black album, well, hey, remember in the 2000s when Weezer was like, yeah, we're kind of not digging the rock that we used to do. We're kind of a poppy band now. This is the Weezer that shows up on the Black album.
Is this the Weezer that's, we're going to try and play to the radio?
Yes.
We're going to try and play to the pop hits?
Yes.
We're going to try and make money off of this thing?
This is that Weezer.
Okay.
This is not the Weezer that I enjoyed a few years ago with Everything Will Be Alright in the End and with the White Album. This is the Weezer that we're getting now. This is the Weezer that's closer to last year's Pacific Daydream, except even poppier. Yeah, they're moving in that direction. So yeah, this is a love it or hate it kind of thing. Like if you are the kind of person who is really, really into their Toto cover, if you can't get enough of Weezer's Africa, then you might want to check this out. If you like the Teal album, you might want to check this out. Like if you like the more poppy version of Weezer, this might be what you want. But if you want Blue Album, Pinkerton, Everything Will Be Alright in the End, White Album, Weezer, this is not that. Yeah. So yeah, it really depends on how you go into this. Me, personally, I didn't enjoy it. I thought it was kind of lame. There's a whole song about where it's basically Rivers talking about, oh my god, it's like something about drugs. I didn't really follow. There's some like Beatles pastiche about him being really high. Get it? It's a metaphor.
Yes.
Oh man, there's just really, really bad choices throughout.
Doesn't sound like a Weezer album.
It is though.
It is though.
It's what Weezer is whatever they want to be at any given time in like history. Like they are so free of anybody being able to tell them what to do at this point. They just literally do whatever they want, whatever their whim is.
So this sounds like the one for them instead of the two for me.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, this is the one for getting their name out there even more than it is. They had an island on Fortnite to promote this. That's the level of ubiquity that Weezer wants to be right now. Yeah, I didn't mention that in video game news, which is coming up, but
which we don't need to.
That happened.
Okay, that happened.
Weezer Island. You go over there and Weezer music is playing, except not the Weezer music you want to be playing. Anyways, so yeah, I don't know. Black Album's out. Check it out if that sounds like something you'd like.
Okay. Well, I may. You told me to check it out. It told me it came out. I may.
It exists.
It exists.
It's out there.
I have time. I can probably check this out.
All right.
But
that's all I listened to this week. I also listened to a lot more, but nothing of note besides those three.
One thing of note, apparently, I think this was like last week or so. Yeah. Some musician came out and said that Imagine Dragons is the new Nickelback.
Oh, yeah, I saw that too. I didn't bother. That's like, it's some dude's opinion. But
yeah, I was like, okay, I didn't know he was the aforementioned lead.
I believe it was the lead singer of Slipknot.
I think so.
Said this.
It was
the lead singer of Slipknot said that Imagine Dragons makes Nickelback look good or something like that.
It's the new Nickelback.
Yes.
Is this generation's Nickelback or something?
It's funny. Funny, but probably not actually.
Yeah,
correct.
it's funny.
They're different things. They're both bad, but I feel like they're bad in different ways. I don't know if you can compare. But you know what also is bad? Slipknot. So who knows at this point who's correct here? They can all be wrong.
I want to say a name right now that's going to be like a blast for the past.
Uh-huh.
But because we're mentioning Slipknot, I kind of need to mention CJ.
Oh my god, I forgot.
Yeah.
We knew people who were into Slipknot.
Yes.
Oh my god. I remember, fun Slipknot story, and I hope my sister never listens to this podcast, but there was a time where my sister was into some
good
weird,
fan shout out there.
some weird music, right? And I remember there was some time where she would, like, I swear, every, like, time she would mention with the music that she was listening to, it would be something radically different from what she used to. and I take this as, like, maybe her close friends at that given part of history were like, here, you should try this. Mm-hmm. And it was always something new. Well, there was a period of time where she did bring up Slipknot in conversation, and I think one of my parents was in the car, and I think they asked, "What's that?" And she said, "They're a Christian band." And I'm just literally in the back of the car trying not to laugh because I know she's lying. And I'm just like, and so I think about that every time I think about Slipknot now. It's like, there, good save, but no.
Not quite.
My parents wouldn't know that. They don't know. They were like, oh, okay. Slipknot. Yeah. Anyways,
yeah, Imagine Dragons is now that type of band.
Like I said, I don't like Imagine Dragons. Do I think they're the worst thing ever? No.
Apparently, so I didn't think this, but there's actually, like, I was reading some comments about it, and someone made this note that actually struck me. It's that when Imagine Dragons makes a song or an album, it's very overproduced, it's very formulaic, and they know when and where it's going to be a hit. Yeah. Whether it's like a summer hit or a winter hit. It's like, this is all formulaic, and that's why...
They know what they're doing.
They know what they're doing.
That's the thing. That's why I can't say that they're terrible, is because even though I don't like it, so many people love them.
But that's the thing, though, that at the end of the day, this is a business. You gotta make money. And if you know how to make money, if there's an actual formula to make it, why wouldn't you use it?
And plus, there's just so much music out there that to me, there's no real reason to waste your energy being like, talking about how bad the, quote, music of today is. Because if you're saying that, you haven't done the research. Mm-hmm. It's like those people who say, oh, rock is dead. It's like, yeah, radio rock, maybe. What the radio calls rock music, it's been dead for decades. Rock music has always been alive, though. Mm-hmm. It's just in places that you have to kind of dig to find. People who know. That's all you need to know. And they'll tell you if you ask them. So, I don't know. That stuff always drives me crazy. It's like...
It does.
There's so much out there. You don't waste your energy being mad at about those things for too long. It does not make the good things worse.
Also, the best way to voice your opinion is with your dollars and with your streaming, what you listen to.
In fact, as Casey Musgraves once said in a song that she wrote, pissing in their yard won't make yours any greener.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's move on.
I thought you were going to go with Follow Your Arrow no matter where it points.
A different song. But
different song, but same concept.
That too.
All right. Let's move on. Because I'm pointing ourselves into video games so we can wrap this up.
We're pointing ourselves into video games.
Yep. And that means upcoming games.
What are their upcoming releases?
We have The Caligula Effect, Overdose for PlayStation, Switch, and PC.
Whatever the hell that is.
It's, I guess that's a party game?
Not any party I want to go to.
But it's Caligula.
That was good. I appreciated that.
But what you're playing on if you own a 3DS. If you own a 3DS, Kirby's Extra Epic Yarn.
That's a port of the Wii game, Kirby's Epic Yarn. With more stuff in it.
I was going to say, is this like a Final Mix Plus version?
Basically, yes.
It's Gold Edition?
Is that original game that was on the Wii, but with extra stuff. as the name Extra implies.
Hey,
I might finally play this because I didn't play this on the Wii. This was kind of towards the end of my Wii playing.
Is this Wii or Wii U?
It was a Wii game, not a Wii U game. Epic Yarn dates back to 2010? 2010?
Okay. So this is definitely a port, but from what I understand, that was a pretty good game.
People loved it. Yeah, I only played it briefly once, so I don't have a whole lot of experience with it.
Well, if you have a charged 3DS, you can buy it and you can play it.
It's true.
But if you have an actual console...
Oh, burn.
Oh, there's shots
3DS burn.
Shots right there.
Wow.
There's a game out from Capcom that may tickle your fancy.
It may.
It may make you laugh. It may make you cry. It may be Devil May Cry 5.
It is, in fact, Devil May Cry 5.
Yes, it is Devil May Cry 5 for the PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. This is your big game coming out this week. Fans of the series, enjoy it. I may actually check this out. I've been meaning to check out Devil May Cry games. They are fun to play with. They're big hack and slash, mindless adventures, but apparently there's also deep lore if you find it.
Yeah.
I'm going to pick this up.
Okay.
Or at least I made Redbox this.
You'll try this out.
Yes.
Yeah, I haven't played a Devil May Cry. I played a little bit of 4 when that came out back in the day.
I believe I played 3 when it came out.
I didn't play the one that was the reboot of sorts called DMC.
No.
The one that Ninja Theory did.
Yeah.
That one was controversial because you either pretty much loved it or hated it.
Right.
I knew a lot of people who were really, really into it, though, that said it played really well and had a cool story. But there were also a bunch of diehard fans that wanted it just to be 4 again and hated the character design of the lead guy. And that kind of overwhelmed all the positive into a big negative cloud. Which is why 5 brings back the characters from 4 and the first 3 games to kind of continue that story and pretend that DMC never happened.
Yeah, they're just going like, yeah, that game we made, it exists in its own universe, and we're not going to talk about that. So let's bring back the characters you do love and want to see.
Right. So I don't know. Yeah, it's been a while. I feel like character action games, for me at least, I feel like Bayonetta did it so well that I'm a little hesitant to go back.
Well, for me, it'd be God of War that did it super well.
Well, those are slightly different things.
Yeah.
But yes, you're probably right to a certain extent. This is not going to go as far as God of War Reboot did in making this modern. This, from what I understand, is very much like those old games.
It's very much by the numbers. This is exactly what you want as a fan of the old games.
For better or for worse, perhaps? We'll find out next week.
Yeah. That's why I'm actually kind of excited to check this out.
I would strongly recommend, though, looking at some reviews, because I've seen some things.
Well, that's why I'm going to Redbox this thing before, and not like fully invest the $60 on it.
But yeah, Devil May Cry 5.
All right. Sweet.
The Devil Might Cry.
Yes.
So make sure you have your tissues.
That's why I said bring the tissues.
Devil Might Cry.
Yes. All right. We'll talk about some news here. And we'll talk about this thing.
Yeah. What's next?
Well, let's talk about some Sonic.
Sonic. He goes fast.
Yes, and is a hedgehog. Or is he? Was he? Will he still be? I don't
know. Maybe.
Well, there's been a leak of Sonic's appearance in his upcoming film, and really, it's laughable, and nobody is happy about it.
No one is happy about it. So, yeah, before we had, like, a poster that, like, teased, like...
It was just his
here's some
shadow.
Legs. Here's some... Oh, yeah,
here's
there was the one with his legs, and
here's his silhouette. Yes.
But now you've seen all of it.
Yep. As the leak comes courtesy of entertainment branding's agency, Hamagami Carol Inc., according to Eurogamer. Yuji Naka, the former head of Sonic Team and one of Sonic's original creators, is, just like the internet, displeased with the leaked image and is asking, is this even a Sonic movie? I feel, quote, I feel that it is important to look at the whole body visual of Sonic and head, body, and stomach. Did you not get a little more balance? He added, roughly translated via Microsoft.
So basically...
Twitter Translate there.
The guy who helped create the dude is like, this is not how we envisioned this going.
Yeah, Sonic wears gloves, not white fur hands. Sonic has oversized feet, not size 7.
It's a weird look. But ultimately, what did we expect?
We expected Paramount to F this up.
Yeah, so really this is par for the course. I mean, it does if anything, it makes the Pokemon and Detective Pikachu trailer look even better.
I was about to say that in a world where Detective Pikachu trailer is out, and then we see this,
it's
like,
two different worlds.
Wow.
It's like
the B team, the C team.
Yeah, I guess so, because Pikachu, looks realistic-ish. It looks like it could actually be a creature, but still managed to look cute. You're still like, oh, look at that Pikachu.
And you still recognize that clearly that is
As
Pikachu.
A Pikachu.
That's a Pikachu I clearly recognize.
Sonic, however, is neither cute nor recognizable as Sonic. It looks like some sort of weird deformed Yeti.
It's as if they said, here's all these Sonic designs. We want this to be unique.
Yeah.
And the team goes, but Sonic is iconic. So everyone knows what Sonic looks like. What do you mean unique? You'll figure it out. And just make it unique.
They figured it out, I guess.
For better or worse?
I don't know. We'll see how the movie turns out. But just imagining Ben Schwartz's voice coming out of that thing is creeping me out.
Wait, is Ben Schwartz
He's the voice of Sonic.
Oh, no!
He's going to get that paycheck! Alright, let's move on. Speaking of Parks and Rec. One of my favorite characters on that show, though. Oh my god, it's so funny.
Oh, god.
It's never not funny when that character showed up. Anyways!
He was super annoying, but also, on-spot hilarious.
Oh, so good. What else is happening in video games?
Speaking of things that are wrong, but on-spot hilarious.
Yeah, oh boy.
Let's talk about EA.
So EA, yeah. Oh, you mean the people who bring us Apex Legends?
Yes. So EA has quite a massive hit on their hands with Apex Legends. People are gravitating to it. It is quickly becoming one of the top streamed games on Twitch.
Yeah, people like. People like that game.
Yeah. People are also continuously saying how this game should be improved.
Yeah.
People are excited about Apex Legends, which makes the story we're actually talking about the more hilarious.
Oh my God. So their other game.
So the other game that came out last week, Anthem, the hotly anticipated game from EA
and everybody's favorite healthcare plan.
And BioWare, yes, Anthem. Not Crossed or Blue or anything.
Yeah, not Blue Cross.
Yes, Anthem from EA is here. It's out. And people want to literally give it back. Yes, we are having deja vu. Because we went through this originally with Star Wars Battlefront 2. How people wanted to give it back.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Yeah, I know that's what you're talking about. How they wanted to basically give the game back to EA, say, please, complete this piece of work. Like, make it actually good.
Yeah, well...
No.
Okay, so let's be fair. This story is not actually about the quality of the product. Well, it is about the quality of the product, but it's not the quality of the actual game itself, I guess, but what the game is actually doing to people.
So, I have the story here, and I noted, but I'll bring an additional story at the end of this.
Okay.
So, users playing Anthem on PlayStation 4.
I am not, but people are.
So, I have PlayStation 4. I wanted to play this on Anthem.
Yeah.
And then I saw this story, and I was like, yeah, not going to touch that thing with a 10-foot pole ever.
Just in case.
Yes.
What's happening?
So, if you have a PS4 and you're playing Anthem, there may be, you may experience some discomfort, some uneasiness, some crashes. Not the Bandicoot style. No. Your PS4 can be bricked. Yes. A $400 brick.
Yeah.
Which has prompted EA to request from the community on Monday, what is going on and how can we fix it? While Anthem has already received numerous reports from users of game disruption bugs since before the launch, This particular issue is causing PS4 players to completely shut PS4 versions of the game to completely shut down in the middle of gameplay, and when you soft reboot your console, it will not boot up.
Yeah, not good.
No. One user report described it as if they pulled the plug on the console from an electrical outlet, and another wrote that the crash turned off their TV and console. The more reports of saying that because their PS4s are basically 4, 5... Are we at 10 years yet for this thing?
No.
Okay. Basically really old, that they're bricking, that the game is crashing, and because there is no warranty for them, they basically have to go out and buy a new console for all their stuff. And they're unable to save or back up any of their games because that console is basically dead.
Yeah, so that sucks.
Yeah. This is one of the worst things that could ever happen, especially from EA, the big giant EA, which people already are very uneasy about, claiming it to be the worst company ever.
Yeah, a couple times.
A couple times over. This is not helping at all.
No, it's a really bad look. It seems like they're trying to get ahead of it by saying hey, you can go into your when you get it back up and running, if you can.
If you
can.
Yes.
There's ways to go back into some back end thing in safe mode and fix the problem. So they're saying don't go straight out and buy a new console quite yet if this does happen to you. But some people don't have that option, especially those with older consoles.
Right. Also, there's people have looked on forums to help solve this issue, and even they, the huge gaming community that this has happened to, has no solution.
No, 100%.
No.
But yeah, it's a complicated thing, and it sucks. This isn't happening to everybody, I should note. So no, if you pick up a copy of Anthem right now and play it on your PS4, it's not guaranteed to break your console.
Yes,
it's just that there are enough of these being reported that it's a thing that EA is aware of.
Yes, and do note that this is also not just for the physical version. Right. This is for both physical and digital as well.
So yeah, here's hoping that EA figures some patch out, releases a patch very soon, and that prevents this from happening, because that's a huge problem.
Want to know what else is a huge problem?
What?
This next thing I'm going to talk about.
Uh-oh, what else is happening in the world of Anthem?
So, I saw this PS4 bricking issue, so I decided to delve into other problems Anthem has been having.
Okay.
One of them, particularly, with gameplay. Or not gameplay, because that is a constant thing going on with this buggy of a game, but rather the weapons they provided.
Oh, I've heard some of this.
As some players have noted, the base weapon that you get is just as powerful as some of the epic legendary weapons in the game.
Yes.
Even weapons that are buffed at 200% damage still require the same, if not more, shots than the basic weapon you start out with.
Yes.
Gamers have gone on and recorded them shooting an enemy 4 times with the basic weapon and doing this as much damage as 4 shots from an overpowered weapon.
That's not a good look.
That's not a good look. Now, EA has said that this is meant to be a scaling issue, but this is more than just a scaling issue.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, when you say that weapons get 200% damage, you require to do one-shot kills on weapons compared to your base weapon that requires 8 shots.
The base weapon should always be lower, have less power than the things you find. That should just be a rule.
Right. This means that the numbers that they throw out at you as you hit them
don't
mean jack squat.
Which is kind of what I kind of thought the first time I saw numbers popping up of dudes in Anthem footage. I was like, in Anthem.
Yeah.
You're
thinking Borderlands.
That's what we were talking about still. No, yeah, I for a second there, I thought I was thinking about Apex Legends, and then I went back to Anthem.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, like, there's no impetus to get loot if you can stick with the thing you start with. Like, that breaks your entire loot loop.
Yeah.
Also, my favorite flavored cereal.
Loot Loops. Woo! Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. That game doesn't seem very good.
Anthem feels rushed to everyone. Even for people who have completed the game, have said that there's no real instance to go back to it. Yeah. The story is very flat. There's sparks of good stuff from like the people who worked on it in terms of like graphics and game and was it scenery? What am I trying to think of? Environments. Yeah.
There's good stuff put into that in some places.
But overall, there's a mess.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway,
that brings us to thoughts. And one quick thought.
You play a video game?
I played Kingdom Hearts, and
We're going to talk about this.
Yes, just real briefly, it has sold 5 million units.
Yeah.
It has confirmed DLC. It has confirmed patches for updated story content and for critical mode, which was severely missing. Yeah. Tetsunora has confirmed that there will not be a final mix, but instead they're going to do updates and DLC as a way of them giving out the final mix. That way you don't have to go out and buy a whole new game.
Smart, I think. Before we move on to I didn't play any video games, but before we continue on with thoughts, I want to mention one breaking piece of news that actually hit about an hour or two ago. Nintendo announced the new Labo kit, which is way more
advanced?
Yeah, advanced than the previous kits. This one, drum roll please, brings virtual reality to the Switch.
Oh!
It's VR for the Switch.
So, funny you mention this because about a year or two ago, I was reading some specs, or watching videos on some specs for Nintendo Switch, putting in patent contents for an AR VR experience.
So this is that coming to fruition in the form of a Labo pack. So, in case you don't remember, because it came and went very quickly, Labo is the do-it-yourself cardboard craft making kit that came out for Switch, where you could make like robots, armor, little birds that fly. You could make all sorts of fun stuff. This, however, a little bit more in depth and a little bit more focused on games. You're literally making a cardboard contraption with VR lenses to attach to your Switch to use as a VR headset, a la Gear VR, a la the phone-driven VRs that we've seen.
Here's your
Google Cardboard, those kind of
things. Google Cardboard, where here's your thing,
Yeah.
just slide your phone in, and then you have automatic VR experience.
This is that, except with Switch. So, that's all we know so far. Nintendo hasn't given a release date. They just announced that this exists. They also haven't released a price for it yet. I would assume this is probably going to be more expensive than the previous kits because it's got to actually have those lenses in it. Mm-hmm. So I would say probably $80 or more. That's my guess.
Okay.
But yeah, this is... but I don't know, and I also don't know whether this will be just released with Labo, the game card, or if there will be an expansion set that's just the cardboard, and maybe they update the Labo game. I don't know how this works, but this seems interesting and will presumably lead to Nintendo developed VR games to be used with this thing.
I could definitely see this being VR, the expansion for VR in this.
Yeah.
The Switch, as we all know now, is super portable. You can slide those hands off and use each controller, or each Joy-Con as its own controller.
The only concern I have about this, though, is that the pixel density and the resolution of its Switch screen is lower than the average smartphone by a considerable margin.
It's like 600, right?
It's a 1080 screen.
Right.
But most phones on the market are way higher than 1080 now.
Well, yeah, they're reaching 4K.
They're pretty good screens these days. So when you have to consider that phone-based VR is way behind PC VR, then you can only imagine how much further behind Switch VR will be. Switch VR's resolution will have to be very, very low, and thus the games will have to be even more simplistic than the phone VR games. That will be limiting. So that's why I'm thinking that this is just going to be a Nintendo thing. I really doubt that VR developers will even bother putting their games on Switch after this thing comes out, because it will just be so below the technology threshold, it won't be worth their time.
Yeah, but what if you do it like a Super Mario Maker, where you have people create their own games,
Maybe.
create their own VR experience?
Bring back WarioWare DIY 2 for the Switch VR. Let's do it.
I mean, it's built in. Just people share games.
Maybe. Also, this means VR porn coming to Switch. Sorry, I had to go there. It's easy.
Always.
Easy joke. All right. That's all I have to say about video games.
I have nothing else of note in video games then. I think that...
Yeah, I finished... I talked about last week, I finished Crackdown 3.
Yeah. Did you get all the things?
I jumped back into it briefly and tried to gather more orbs, but like I said, there's no way to ping them. There's no way to be sure where they are. So it would just be sitting next to a guide, and I just don't want to do that. I don't have time to do that. Well, I treasure my time more than that.
Well, you do have time to plug us away, though.
Oh, so, and I brought my 3DS back out to maybe jump back into Pokemon Moon.
Yeah.
I did the same thing that happened last time I did this. Happened again. I ended up just buying a bunch of pocket card jockeys. I swear. I opened that thing and I'm like, oh yeah, pocket card jockey. And the next thing I know is 3 hours later.
That happens to me all the time. That game is great.
That freaking game is built to screw you over, I swear. Anyways, so yes, now let's wrap this show up.
All right, let's wrap this up. Let's plug away.
This has been Podcast.
Yeah, this has been the Media Boat Podcast. Thank you all for tuning in.
Yeah, thank you. We are live on YouTube on Wednesday nights. That'll be sometime after 7 o'clock probably now. Pacific time. So stay tuned. But yeah, you can find us on YouTube. Just search Media Boat Podcast. You'll find our page. Like and subscribe. Subscribe and you'll hear when we go live. So that way you don't have to know a normal time. Because we don't have one right now. If you want to listen to the audio version, we also have that for you. Just go on to Apple Podcasts or any similar RSS feed driven podcast interface. And you can find us. Just search Media Boat Podcast. We also have social media presence. We're on Twitter at MediaBoatCast. We're on Facebook, MediaBoat Podcast. Just search that and you'll find our page. Like it, comment, please. You can also email us. I always forget to do this one. MediaBoatPodcast@gmail.com. Email us there and you can ask us questions. We're open to any questions, suggestions you've got. If you also want to put your money where your mouth is, you can donate to us at patreon.com/MediaBoat. Yeah, just hold a $100 bill right in front of your mouth. But some people should do
I'm kind of hungry right now. I could probably eat a $100 bill.
You could probably eat a $100 bill.
I'm not going to eat $100 worth of food.
That's a lot of food. Yeah, you should. Oh, speaking of food, this has nothing to do with the podcast. I tried a Whopper for the first time in my life.
Wait, what do you mean for the first time in your life?
I had never had a Whopper.
What?
Yeah, I know. I had never had a Burger King Whopper.
You go to Burger King, though, right?
I used to. I haven't gone in years.
But it's Burger King, the king of burgers.
Yeah. What are your thoughts about the Whopper before I tell you what I thought?
I don't know. It's fine.
It's fine.
It's a burger. I mean, I think there's more, fluff in it than an actual burger.
Fluff?
I call it fluff.
Fluff?
Yeah, I call the vegetables fluff.
Oh, come on. Vegetables are the best part. I thoroughly enjoyed my Whopper, and I intend on getting more.
Okay.
I have not been able to think about any other food since I had it. I liked it that much.
Not even like a Wendy's?
Yeah. I think it's better than a
Wendy's. The Baconator?
I think it's better than a Baconator. I didn't like the Baconator, actually, when I tried it.
You like Son of Baconator?
No, I didn't even like the Son of Baconator when I tried it.
I
liked the Big Bacon Classic.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
That was delicious.
The Big Bacon Classic.
That was good, but this is good in a different way, even from that. It has a lot of the same... Its crossover, actually, is pretty similar, recipe-wise. You can even get the Whopper with bacon, which is actually what I had.
You put some bacon on it?
Oh, shit! I put some bacon on it. But yes, I thoroughly am at some point during this week going to get another one of those because I really enjoy it.
Well, maybe we'll go on Saturday.
Who knows? Maybe. All right. That will wrap up Media Boat Podcast. I already did the plugs, so
yes.
We're done. Let's get out of here.
All right, let's go. We gotta go eat. Bye.
Bye. You gotta go eat something.
Oh, I need to go eat something. Yeah, it's 9 o'clock.
Go get a Whopper.
Bye.